Hey, what is up, my fish tank guys and girls? Now, whether you've owned an aquarium for a long time or maybe you consider yourself a freshwater or saltwater rookie there, I think there are a few things that every fish tank owner should do on a daily basis to make sure their aquarium stays clean and healthy. So I'm going to take you through 5 things that I think you can do in less than 5 minutes every day to keep your tank looking awesome. So as fish tank owners, there are oftentimes stretches and long periods where we forget to kind of keep up with our maintenance when it comes to our aquariums. Now, eventually that will catch up to us and things are going to start to look kind of nasty and not so nice. And what was once supposed to be a beautiful addition to our living space or maybe our office is now kind of like an eyesore with a bunch of algae and a bunch of green and brown all over it rather than bright colors. And you know, maybe our fish get sick and all these terrible things happen. Now, we can definitely avoid that by doing some daily, weekly, and monthly maintenance. So in this video, I'm going to focus on the daily maintenance routine that I think you should follow if you are a fish tank owner. Now, this especially applies to folks who are brand new to the hobby. So maybe this is your first aquarium, whether it be freshwater or saltwater. Maybe you decided to buy your kid a fish and then you realize that actually you're going to be taking care of the tank and your kid is just going to be ignoring it. I mean, enjoying it. So this is primarily directed at all of you first-time fish tank owners, but I think this is sound advice for anybody who's had a tank, even if you've had a tank for maybe say like 10, 15 years. Now, while these 5 things seem pretty simple and straightforward, forgetting them for days or weeks at a time can result in disaster. So it's really good to keep these things in mind every day when you walk by your fish tank or every day when you take a couple minutes to take a look at it and make sure things are okay. So number 1, the first thing you're going to want to do is simply check the aquarium temperature. This is often overlooked, but is a good way to make sure you catch any issues before they get out of hand. Now, for me, a good rule of thumb is making sure the temperature is within 1 degree of your desired temperature. So personally, on my aquariums, I like things to be at 78 degrees Fahrenheit. So if I check the temperature and it's somewhere between 77 and 79, that's usually good enough for me. Now, if you start to see that temperature dropping or rising rapidly, that is an indication that you need to check out your heater. Maybe something is up. Maybe the heater is no longer working. Maybe it is running too often, or maybe there are other variables that are increasing the temperature of your aquarium. That could be, water pumps. Something could be faulty there. It could be your lights are on too long, or your lights are, heating up too much, different things like that. But checking your temperature is a great thing to do on a daily basis. Also, really simple, takes like 5 seconds. Number 2, another really easy thing to do daily is to visually inspect your aquarium equipment. Now, when I say equipment, I simply mean your pumps and your power heads, maybe your filter. You just want to make sure everything is running properly. Water is flowing where you expect it to be flowing. Power heads are moving in the right direction. Sometimes power heads can flip directions and they'll be sucking water in instead of blowing water out, things like that. Again, a really quick, probably less than 5 to 10 second visual inspection on a daily basis will save you a headache in the long run. Number 3, I'm going to go with checking and possibly replacing your mechanical filtration. Now, when I say mechanical filtration, I mean filter floss, filter pads, things that are capturing larger particles of waste, organic material floating around in the water, things like that. I like to check this on a daily basis because if your filter pads, for example, I have filter pads in here, I'll show you checking the filter pad. But if your filter pads are starting to get brown or they're starting to get dirty or they're starting to get filled up with that material, it's going to be less and less effective at capturing new stuff that's flowing through your filtration. So in my instance, basically in my filter basket, the water hits half of the filter pad. So once one half of it gets all browned and gunked up, I can simply turn it around so the water is hitting the fresh side of the pad. But depending on how your setup is, you can either do something similar or you can simply replace your filtration media. Number 4, I think a lot of people tend to get a little lazy with this one, even though they probably know it's something they should do. Take a minute, maybe 2 minutes, depends on the size of your aquarium, right? For a tank like this, it's basically a minute. But take a minute or a few minutes and simply clean your glass. Now, I'm talking about the inside of your glass. Cleaning the outside of your glass is a good thing too, but I don't think, unless you have little kids or you're one of those people that's constantly clawing at your aquarium. I don't know why you would ever do that, but cleaning the exterior of the glass isn't something that I think you'll have to do that often, but the interior of your glass will accumulate algae over time, and if you keep up with that on a daily basis, it's going to keep your tank looking very nice. So you're going to want to make sure you get a magnetic algae scraper so you don't have to dip your hands into your tank every day. You just kind of go along all of the outside glass, make sure you scrape off any brown dusting or green dusting of algae you may see, and that's about it. Pretty simple. And number 5, last but certainly not least, is to inspect/feed any live inhabitants that you may have in your aquarium. Now, let's not forget about our fish and our crabs and things like that. That's why you got to check them on a daily basis. Now, a lot of times, some people will just, pass on through, dump some food in, and continue on with their day. Well, I say you're going to want to visually inspect your fish because that is how you catch early signs of disease or stress that could potentially spread to other fish in your tank or other creatures in your tank and cause issues. So when you look at your fish, you're going to want to look for labored breathing. You want to look and see if they're swimming correctly, if they have any bruising. White spots is a big thing to check for because that is a sign of what's called ick, which is like a fish disease that can spread throughout the tank and just kill everything. It's miserable. If you have coral, if you have a saltwater tank, you're going to want to make sure your coral are open and happy. They look good. If they're receding or they're changing colors, they're bleaching, that's something you're going to want to get ahead of. But if you do that visual inspection on a daily basis, you should be able to catch anything early and hopefully prevent any big time disasters in your aquarium. Now, when it comes to feeding, everybody feeds a little bit different. I would like to feed every day, but I feed at least every other day. Some people do once a day, once every other day, multiple times a day. So that's going to be part of your daily tank, maintenance routine. So like I said, you should be able to do those 5 things in 5 minutes or less. Just to give you a quick recap, you're going to want to check your temperature. You're going to want to visually inspect your aquarium equipment. You're going to want to check and possibly replace your mechanical filtration. You're going to want to clean any algae off of your glass. And last but not least, number 5, you're going to want to visually inspect/feed any of the live inhabitants in your tank. So once again, I am the Fish Tank Guy. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope it was helpful. If you can remember to do these things on a daily basis, you're gonna find a lot more success with your aquarium. It's gonna look better, it's gonna look nicer, you're gonna be happier with it. All of those good things for less than 5 minutes every day. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, hit the like button down below. If you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so. And if you've got anything that you like to do as part of your daily maintenance routine that I may have missed, feel free to put that in the comment section below. If you don't like the 5 things that I choose to do every day, why don't you put those in the comment section below too. I'm happy to get other people's opinions and input. I really appreciate it. And that's pretty much all I've got. Pretty straightforward. So until a future Fish Tank Guy video, I will see you guys soon.